All right, now to passage of a bill originally concerning non-citizens working in law enforcement. That's how the bill was originally designed and created, and no Republicans were on board. Um, Supporters of this bill, and it's substitute Senate Bill 5068. They say that expanding job eligibility is necessary to non-citizens because we have a massive shortage of law enforcement. We're lowest per capita law enforcement numbers in the entire nation. Um, so they say that we need to open up the doors to have more people. Um, when it came over to the House, Representative Brian Burnett, who's a former Chelan County sheriff, he told the chair of the House Community Safety Committee that he sits on that committee as well at the time, I'm a firm no." He said, I think for non-citizens, we just cannot go there. This is just opening up something, you can't have, a non-citizen arresting a citizen in the United States of America." He was not okay with that. Um, but at that time, the bill was likely to sail through anyway. And so what he did is he started working on a striker amendment. And that is basically a rewrite of the entire bill. And he found a compromise that he could live with. And that basically said, okay, yeah, you can be a firefighter, you can be a deputy prosecutor, you can serve in the Department of Corrections, but you cannot, as a non citizen, work in law enforcement and have arrest powers. Um, that is the version that ended up clearing the House. It went back to the Senate, still had a lot of Republicans on that side going, "What gives, Rep Burnett? You're the former sheriff. Why the heck would you support this?" Um, he got kind of skewered basically online, a lot of emails. He said people were not happy with him. So I had an opportunity to speak with him about his striker amendment and why he ultimately supported the bill and wants people to understand why he got on board with it.
I did not ever believe or support that we should have non-citizens being law enforcement officers that have the ability to arrest individuals that are citizens in the United States. So what happened was is I dropped an amendment that brought different language that would take commissioned police officers out of this, would not give them authority to be hired if they were non-citizens. And then even on top of that, we got some language in this I just want to read it because this talks about the correction officers, yes, deputy prosecutors, and a couple other firefighters and stuff like that. But it specifically says verification of immigrant or citizenship status as a citizen of the United States or a person who is legally authorized to work in the United States under federal law. That is huge. So if you're not legally authorized under federal law to work here, you can't be hired for any of those other positions. But again, law enforcement officers with arrest powers are taking out of this.
Representative Burnett's legislative assistant told me this morning that she had a guy that drove from Monroe, all the way from Monroe, not a constituent of Rep. Burnett. He's Wenatchee. That's his district, but drove all the way from Monroe down to Olympia and sort of demanded to see Representative Burnett because he was so mad about this bill. And she said that, he sat down with this upset gentleman and kind of showed him what the Stryker amendment did and how the bill reads now as it has passed. He said the guy understood, got on board, followed him on social media, thanked him for his time, and there we go. So at any rate, it's worth a look at the amended legislation and the way it passed. So yeah, that's going to be one that I think is going to take some time for people to understand about the bill as passed versus the bill as it was originally designed.